Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the second card that I used on my trip to Japan. And this card went hand in hand with the Bank of America Travel Rewards card. So where this card got 1.5% back on all the spend I did, this was my catch-all credit card. But this next card is the card that I called as my eating card, because this card was the card that I used to make purchases whenever I ate anything. And that card is the US Bank Altitude Go card. So the US Bank Altitude Go card was a card that I used for all my dining purchases. And this card is actually really unique on how it works. And like we've talked before, let's go straight to the website to be able to see what this card does for us. So this card earns you 20,000 bonus points just for spending $1,000 in the first 90 days. And that's equivalent to a $200 value redeemable towards merchandise, gift cards, cashback, travel, and more. And these points never expire, and there are no foreign transaction fees on this card, which was really interesting to me to be able to see that. At the time that I signed up for the Bank of America Travel Rewards card, I was going to earn a $250 sign-up bonus for spending $1,000. But then I was thinking, well, I know I'm going to spend more than $1,000 already when I'm in Japan. In fact, I would probably spend more than $2,000. So that's when I started looking into getting a second credit card to use while I was in Japan. And that card was, of course, the US Bank Altitude Go card. And this card was actually really great with all the multipliers that it had. And as we look right here, this card earns you 4 times points on dining, takeout, and restaurant delivery. So this multiplier right here is great. This is comparable to the American Express Gold card, where you get 4 times dining worldwide. And I believe this card, for at least that category, is a little better in the sense that this card gets you takeout and restaurant delivery as well. As far as I know, I didn't use takeout or delivery, so I'm not sure if I would have got 4 times still. But the American Express Gold card only gets you the takeout and delivery on US purchases, not worldwide purchases. So this card could actually be better than the American Express Gold card in that category. Though you can be able to get more value out of your points with the American Express Gold card, if you were using it for a cashback sense, this card, the US Bank Altitude Go card, would be a lot better, I believe. And as we look as well, this card gets you 2 times the points at grocery stores, grocery delivery, streaming services, gas stations, and EV charging stations. So this card I would use as well for grocery store purchases, like convenience store purchases, supermarket purchases, as well as the dining purchases. This card was designated as my eating card. So wherever we went to get food here, we got food here, anywhere, we got tons of different food. Though I didn't make any purchases with streaming services or gas, I'm sure that this would have worked as well. And sometimes depending on where you go, you might get like a rental car and then you would have to pay gas, and I'm sure this card will work great. But the only categories I used for this card was the dining and the grocery purchases. But as well, this card can get you 1 times the point on all other eligible purchases. So with the catch-all multiplier being 1 times only, this is why I used my Bank of America Travel Rewards card to get the 1.5 times back instead of using this card. So anytime I ate, the Altitude Go card would come out. Anytime we went to like a hotel or souvenir, the Travel Rewards card would come out. And I would just do that back and forth. And this card as well, like we talked about, has no annual fee and no foreign transaction fees, as well as a nice intro APR offer, which is a 0% offer for the first 12 months on purchases and balance transfers. And like we talked about, you can redeem your points for merchandise, cashback, gift cards, and travel, or redeem instantly for purchases with real-time rewards. So like a way where you get a statement credit, you can do it instantly instead of waiting to do it later on. And then this card as well, though I didn't use it, has a streaming bonus that you get a $15 credit for annual streaming service purchases like Netflix, Apple TV+, Spotify, and more. So just to get into more detail of how that credit works, we can see right here that it says the $15 streaming service credit is applied after 11 months of streaming purchases. As well, you get 2 times points on your streaming services. So this actually is a really good card for a no annual fee card. Obviously, you know, there's American Express has their Disney bundle credit, which is great itself as well if you get the no annual fee card. But this card would be great to use for like if you had Netflix and you wanted to use a credit card to purchase for that. And what makes this card actually better than a 5% cashback card, like actually another card from US Bank, which is the US Bank Cash Plus card, is that card gets you 5% back on your streaming purchases. So let's say Netflix cost you $10 a month. You'd be spending $120 a year. And with that 5%, you're going to get back on your $120 of spent, you're going to get $6 cash back. And I know that's not a lot, but you're getting more than you would using another card. But you're probably thinking, well, why is 2% better than 5%, right? With 2% of $120, that's only $2.40. But what makes it better is because you're getting that $15 credit. So if you add that $15 to that $2.40, it's going to be $17.40, which is a lot more than the $6 you would get for the year spending with the Cash Plus card. So it just depends on what card that you're using. If there's a credit card out there that has a great credit that goes with the card, then it'll make it worth the money that you're spending on it. And because this card has no annual fee on it, it makes it even worth more. So if you have this card and the Cash Plus card, I would definitely use the Altitude Go card for your streaming purchases. And it varies on what streaming services actually are categorized as streaming. I actually tried it on Crunchyroll, if you've heard of that. It's the streaming platform for like anime, TV shows, and movies. But when I used my Altitude Go card with it, it did not categorize it as a streaming service, so it wasn't going to give me the $15 credit at the end of the year. So because it didn't categorize it, I used a different card. So you just have to kind of test it out and call and make sure that the spend that you're doing actually hits the categories that you want it to. Because if it's not, then you got to use a different card. But like I mentioned before, this card goes great hand in hand with the Bank of America travel rewards card that I got. And together with it having a $250 sign-up bonus for the Bank of America card and a $200 sign-up bonus for the US Bank card, I got a total value of $450 back for spending $2,000, which is about 22.5% return on my investment, which really, that's a pretty good percentage out there. Like we talked about in my last video, I'm pretty much getting a 22.5% off for all my spend that I'm doing, and that's not too bad. Obviously, like we mentioned, there's better cards out there like the Capital One Venture X, the American Express Platinum or Gold cards, or even one of the Chase Sapphire cards. But because of how I was doing my spend and not wanting to get an annual fee on a card, these two cards work great for me. And this will vary depending on the person and the individual on what they want to do while they're in a foreign country. But for me, because I didn't use any points or anything to be able to get to Japan, I used just my own cash to be able to get to Japan, just paying with the cashback credit card. I didn't get any points or anything back, so to use it more towards travel, so I just got cards that would help me while I was in Japan. But now that I've learned more about travel cards and everything like that, I'm trying to save up my points to be able to use those to get me to Japan next time. And that's what I want to be able to do now, is to be able to save up enough points to be able to use it and actually transfer it out to transfer partners to get me back to Japan. And once I'm able to do that, I will definitely make a video of how I did that. So what do you think of the US Bank Altitude Go card? Do you think this card is pretty good, pretty bad? Or do you think that this card was a good travel card that I used? Or do you think it was a bad travel card or even just a bad card in itself? Personally, like I said, this card is actually a really good card, especially because it's unlimited on all the purchases that you get. It's unlimited 4 times, unlimited 2 times, and unlimited 1 times, which made this card very comparable to the card that I wanted to get, with the Saber 1 card being unlimited 3 times. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be able to stay up to date on my content. If you want to see the next card on the list that I didn't have but I would have liked to use, but I'm planning on getting next time I go to Japan, check out this video right here.